Hello, this is Justin7. I'm here to report on a couple of problems that professional players have been having with Betfair. The first is kind of shocking. It's a $3.1 million slow pay that has been going on since February. A player wrote me, at the end of February, February 17th and February 20th, I withdrew overall $3.5 million US dollars. At the moment, I receive only $360,000 US dollars, and I don't have a clue when I'll receive the rest of the sum and even whether I'll receive the money at all. Given the amount in dispute, I contacted Betfair to make sure that this amount of money really was owed to a player. They confirmed that it was, and they said that they had paid the processor. They sent an email to the player suggesting that he contact the processor. Here are the two relevant sentences from this letter. However, the amount has been transferred to the PSP, which is currently in the process of paying to you. We also recommend that you would liaise with the PSP to have provided with a payment schedule and possible time frames of completion of the transfer of the remaining balance. So in this case, Betfair is saying, we sent the money out, it's not our problem. So I then went ahead and contacted the PSP, and they responded. They said, I'm emailing you regarding the discussed claim by Mr. X, account removed for privacy. The current laws restrict transactions to up to $20,000 per week. We do our best to get this money as fast as possible and transfer him weekly $10,000 to $20,000 via bank wire, and we're trying to do larger increments soon, in addition to giving him cash. So at the end of 5 months, they managed to do $600,000. So it's about $120,000 a month. For him to get the other $3 million, it'll take 2.5 years. Now, normally when there's a processing issue with a book, if a book sends money to a processor and the processor fails to get the money to the player in a reasonable time, the book does something to make it right. They either send payment in another way or reach some kind of agreement. And there are plenty of ways you could pay the player here. You could pay him in a for this kind of money, you could pay him in a bank in another country. He could fly out and actually pick up the money. And I asked both the processor and Betfair if there's any other way to handle this, and I got no response. Now, the thing that doesn't make sense is, why would Betfair pay $3 million to a processor that's not going to be able to get it paid out for several years? Again, doesn't make sense, and there was no comment. Now, the next problem we're seeing with professional players at Betfair is a rapidly increasing premium charge. I got this letter from several players saying that basically their premium rate could go up to as high as 60%. So if you are one of the top 1 in 1,000 players and you have over 1,000 markets that you have bet and you've won over £250,000, you could potentially be stuck with a 60% premium. So instead of making $100,000 in profit after your fees, you find that you've only made $40,000. So that's basically the new premium charge makes Betfair almost unplayable for the serious professionals. And you have to wonder what's going to happen to the liquidity of Betfair if all the big hitters suddenly get pulled out. The other thing you have to wonder is Betfair changing their strategy? Are they going to start seeding markets, or are they trying to exploit their own markets and keep the bigger players out, from siphoning the money out? But this new premium structure now creates a new problem, and that is we're getting claims of players arguing that Betfair is stealing from them because they're accusing the players of fraud. Here's a complaint we got. I played around 4 months, 150 markets, and have no contacts with other players. And suddenly in December, after their bonus fiasco, he's referring to the happy hour special. Without any notice, they steal my money. They charge me over €30,000. So in this case, the player had no contacts with anybody, no shared IP, no computer. The only thing he apparently had was that he's a winning player. Betfair sent him this explanation. Further to our previous email, the results of our investigation to the accounts, 4 listed accounts, leave us in little doubt that the betting activity across the accounts is the distribution of a single betting strategy. As a result, we have linked the 4 accounts together for the purposes of the premium charge and debited the underpayment and premium charges from the shared betting strategy. Yours sincerely, Betfair Pricing. So in this case, a player is accused of, I guess, multi-accounting and creating multiple accounts to avoid premium charges. There's no proof except that basically he's a winning player or using some type of winning strategy. And boom, $30,000 is gone. If Betfair is doing this to players, it's likely that, it's possible players are actually committing fraud, and there's a high incentive to do that with a premium charge up to 60%. But the other danger then is if they are seizing these balances with little more than just looking at bets and nothing else in common, that mistakes can be made and innocent players could get hurt. So anyway, we're seeing three problems with Betfair. Slow pay with jumbo accounts, at least this one in Russia. High premium charges and allegations of stealing money from players' accounts that they're accusing of premium charge fraud. This is Justin7. If you have any questions, send me an email, justin@sportsbookreview.com.